Good afternoon, YouTube. Arizona RE here, and I bet you guys have been walking through Harbor Freight or a similar place and saw something like this. Harbor Freight calls this a wheel cleaning stand, and you can get one at Harbor Freight. I don't know if the coupons, everything's going. You can probably pick one up for about $7 or $8. Not that cheap. How do they work? Basically, these rollers right here allow you to park the wheel right in the middle, and then you can roll the wheel. So if you're someone that doesn't have a center stand, this is a great way to clean and maintenance your rear wheel and chain. So let's have a look at how that works. I've got the Bonneville here, I've got the Tiger here, and I've got the Royal Enfield. Enfield's got a center stand, these two bikes don't. So I'm going to use this because I've got a new chain guard to go on the Tiger here. So I'm going to be replacing the chain guard with one that has a chain guard and a hugger to go over the wheel because, well, quite honestly, that's pretty nasty. And that should help the situation. So how do you use this thing? Well, basically, you get behind your bike, you more or less center it. Now, the bike is sort of leaned over right now because it's on the stand, but once it's up, you need to look at how it's going to sit on that roller once you've moved it back. So I can tell that this looks about right, and it's fairly easy. It's not that big of an incline. I'm a big boy, and I can just grab a hold of this bike and move it up there. But if you're not that big of a person, there might be a few precautions you want to take. You can go ahead and put the bike in gear and then hold on to the clutch when you're moving it. Leave the kickstand down in case you do need to let go of the bike. You can fall back over on the kickstand, or hopefully not on you. And since you're on this side of the bike, I recommend putting it in gear and holding onto the clutch so that you can free roll the bike backwards. But if you do need some braking power, just let out on the clutch. Anyway, this bike, while it's kind of tall, isn't that heavy. And you ought to be able to just bump it in there, just like that. So now, go ahead and take it out of first gear. And you'll see it's not perfectly centered on there. Probably need to try another approach. And there you have it. Nice and centered. Perfect. So now what this is going to allow you to do, with the bike not in gear, it's going to allow you to turn this rear wheel by hand. I feel like I need to throw that out there. By hand, do not, I repeat, do not start the bike, put it in gear, and run it on these rollers. There is never a moment or time where that is a good idea. Never. There's never a moment in time where it's a good idea for this bike to be in gear running on that roller. Never, ever. But you kind of get the idea now. Even with a big tire like this, perhaps if it's wider than that, you're going to have an issue. But it's fairly simple at this point. Carefully and easily, you're able to grab onto the wheel and roll it. And as you can see here, as it rolls along, you'll have access to a new piece of chain and a new piece of the wheel. Just like that. Now, I'm going to be replacing this chain guard, so I'm going to take it off. And while I have it off, that's when I'm going to hit the majority of all this cleaning. So it's just going to make it easier to do the chain and everything else. I'll take it out for a quick spin, heat up the chain, come back and oil it, let it sit overnight, because if you let it sit overnight, less chance of it slinging off onto your nice new clean wheel. So, I finished cleaning my chain. I took it out for a spin afterwards and then brought it back, got it nice and oiled and lubed, so the chain is ready to go. I'm ready to come down off of the roller, off of the wheel cleaning stand, and it goes a little bit like this. Take it off, roll it forward, make sure your kickstand doesn't fold, and you're good. Don't forget to remove it so you don't try to back out over it when you're coming out of the garage. So there you go, Harbor Freight wheel cleaner. And it sits pretty low profile, so you can just kind of stick it underneath one of your toolboxes. That's it. Stick around, I'll show you some pictures. Stick around and I'll show you some pictures of the new Hugger.